What if I told you the only thing standing between you and your dream life is a moment you feel like quitting? Most people give up right before their breakthrough. They trade years of effort for a lifetime of regret. And the truth is, the world doesn't wait. It rewards the one who persists, not the one who stops. If you leave now, you're not just skipping a video, you're choosing to kill your own dream. Stay, listen, and master persistence. Because if you don't, someone else will take the life that could have been yours. Part 1. Why most people quit before success arrives. What if I told you right now that your entire future, your success, your dream life, your freedom, could vanish, not because you weren't talented enough, not because you didn't have the right connections, not even because life was unfair, but simply because you gave up too early? That thought alone should shake you. Because here's the truth. Most people never fail because they weren't capable. They fail because they surrendered too soon. And what's terrifying is that they often quit right before the breakthrough was about to happen. Imagine digging for gold for years, only to stop 3 inches before hitting the treasure. That's the story of millions of lives. Dreams buried not because they were impossible, but because persistence was abandoned. Now pause. Really pause and think. Have you ever walked away from something you truly wanted? Something you started with fire, but later convinced yourself, maybe it's not for me? If you're honest, the answer is yes. And that tiny habit of quitting doesn't just end at one goal. It becomes a pattern, a habit that slowly kills bigger dreams in silence. Let me be blunt with you. If you treat this video like just another piece of motivation you can skip halfway, you're making the exact mistake we're exposing right now. Walking away early. And when you walk away from persistence here, you're rehearsing how you'll walk away from your goals out there, in your career, your fitness, your relationships, your dream life. Don't miss this, because this isn't just a video. This is your training ground. Here's the dark reality. Life doesn't punish you immediately when you quit. It doesn't slap you in the face the same day you decide to stop. Instead, it's subtle. It waits. It lets time pass. And slowly, you wake up one day realizing you're living a life far below your potential. Not because you weren't meant for more, but because you chose comfort over persistence. That slow poison of regret, that's a real killer. But persistence is a cure. Persistence is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the forgotten from the remembered, the quitters from the legends. Now, let me take you into a story. There was once a man who failed in business not once, not twice, but multiple times. He was bankrupt, rejected, ridiculed. His fiancée died, his health was weak, and every single logical reason screamed at him to quit. But he didn't. He persisted. That man was Abraham Lincoln, the same man who went on to become one of the greatest presidents in history. Imagine if he had quit after his 5th failure. History would have never remembered his name. So here's my question to you. What dream of yours will the world never see if you decide to quit? What masterpiece will die with you because you didn't push one more step, one more day, one more try? Let that thought burn into you. Now, I want you to say this with me. I will not quit. I will persist until success is mine. Say it again, louder, with more conviction. I will not quit. I will persist until success is mine. Do you feel that shift? That's a spark of persistence being lit inside you. But here's the danger. Sparks die quickly if you don't feed them. That's why persistence isn't about hype. It's about habit. It's about rewiring your mind so deeply that quitting no longer feels like an option. Think about your own life. How many times did you stop just before you could have won? Maybe you tried building a business and gave up after months of struggle, not knowing that one more strategy could have unlocked everything. Maybe you tried getting fit but left the gym after a few weeks, not realizing that your body was just weeks away from transformation. Maybe you gave up on a relationship, a skill, a dream, because persistence felt too heavy. And here's the sinister part. Once you quit once, it becomes easy to quit again. And again, until quitting is your default setting. Until your brain wires itself to give up the moment things get tough. That's how dreams die. Quietly, silently, without warning. But you're not here to let that happen. You're here because you know persistence is your lifeline. Without it, everything else, your talent, your intelligence, your ambition, is useless. With it, nothing can stop you. Mini affirmation for you right now. I persist when others quit. I endure when others surrender. I am unshakable. Say it, believe it, etch it into your mind. Now let me challenge you. Imagine your future self, 10 years from now. He or she is either living your dream life, fulfilled, successful, admired, or living with silent regret, wondering what could have been. Which version do you want to be? More importantly, which version are you creating right now with your choices? That's the hidden power of persistence. Every time you choose to persist instead of quit, you're not just surviving the moment, you're creating a future where you win. But here's the dark psychology I want you to absorb. If you leave this video unfinished, if you walk away before hearing the whole truth, you're practicing the exact habit that ruins lives, quitting before the end. And once your brain accepts that, it'll repeat the pattern in every area of your life. Do you see how dangerous that is? So stay, listen, absorb, persist through this part, because your persistence muscle is being trained here. I'll ask you one last reflection for this part. What's one goal you once quit that you still regret today? And how much better would your life be right now if you had just persisted? Let that sting, because pain is a powerful motivator. Use it. This is only the beginning of persistence. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to train your mind to outlast every challenge. But for now, remember this. Winners are not the most talented. Winners are the most persistent. And as long as you choose to persist, you are unstoppable. Part 2, the psychology of endurance. Training your mind to outlast. Here's a brutal truth. Your body doesn't quit first. Your mind does. People don't collapse because they are physically incapable. They collapse because their mind convinces them it's time to stop. Endurance is not a matter of muscles. It's a matter of mindset. And if you don't learn to master it, life will keep beating you at the exact point where persistence should begin. Think about it. How many times have you said, I can't take this anymore? And then later, you realize you actually could have gone further. That moment right there, that's the lie of your brain. It tells you stop, not because you're finished, but because you've reached your comfort limit. And here's the dangerous part. If you always obey that voice, you train your mind to surrender the first sign of discomfort. That's how mediocrity is programmed. Let me hit you with a scenario that may sting. Imagine you're chasing a dream, building a business, writing a book, transforming your body, creating financial freedom. You start strong, but after a few weeks or months, it gets hard. Results don't come fast enough. Doubt creeps in. And then one night, you say, maybe this isn't for me. That one sentence is a funeral of your dream. And your mind, the same mind that should have been your ally, just became your assassin. Endurance is about rewriting that script. It's about teaching your brain a new language. Pain is not the end. Discomfort is not danger. Fatigue is not failure. Say that out loud. Feel how it reshapes your thinking. Pain is not the end. Discomfort is not danger. Fatigue is not failure. Now, here's a piece of dark psychology you must understand. Your brain will always choose the easiest option. Always. If there's a door marked comfort and another door marked growth, your brain will drag you toward comfort every single time, unless you condition it otherwise. Endurance is that conditioning. It's forcing yourself through the growth door again and again until your brain begins to associate persistence with survival, with identity, with pride. Let's put this into a story. There's a Navy SEAL training exercise called Hell Week. 4 days, recruits are pushed beyond exhaustion, freezing cold, drenched, deprived of sleep. Most ring the bell and quit. But the ones who stay, they learn a shocking truth. Their body can go 10 times further than their mind tells them. 10 times. That's not motivation fluff. That's proven in the hardest training environments on earth. Now, ask yourself, if they can push through that, what excuse do you really have? Why do you let a little boredom, a little discomfort, a little failure stop you? It's not because you can't. It's because your mind has never been trained to endure. Mini affirmation right here. My mind is stronger than my excuses. My endurance defines my destiny. Repeat that. Lock it in. Now, reflect. How different would your life look if you train your mind to keep going, no matter what? Imagine if every time you hit resistance, instead of quitting, you pushed one step more. Then another. Then another. You would become unstoppable. Because persistence isn't about talent. It's about outlasting the ones who gave up. Here's something chilling. The world doesn't reward the smartest, the fastest, or even the strongest. The world rewards the ones who refuse to stop. And if you're not one of them, someone else will take the reward that was meant for you. Yes, someone less talented, less prepared, less gifted will win, simply because they endured when you didn't. Can you live with that thought? So let's flip the script. From now on, when your brain whispers, "I can't," you answer back, "Watch me." When fatigue says, "Stop here," you declare, "I go further." When fear says, "This is too much," you roar, "This is where I grow." Let me give you a practical tool. It's called the 40% rule. It says when your mind tells you you're done, you've only used 40% of your capacity. That means you still have 60% left in the tank. Think about how powerful that is. The moment you want to quit is the moment the real game begins. If you push past that point, you're no longer average, you're extraordinary. So here's a challenge for you. Identify one area of your life where you usually give up early. Be honest, and this week, commit to enduring just 10% longer. If you normally stop after 20 minutes at the gym, go 22. If you give up on your business strategy after 3 tries, push for 4. That's how endurance is built. Small increments that rewire your brain to push further every time. Reflection question. Where in your life are you ringing the bell too early? And what would happen if you simply refused? That's the choice that separates the quitters from the finishers. Stay with me, because in the next part, we're going deeper into how to turn every setback into a stepping stone. And if you don't hear that part, you risk repeating the same mistakes that make most people quit forever. Don't sabotage your own future. Stay, persist, outlast. Part 3. Turning setbacks into stepping stones. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. How many times have you taken a failure personally, as if it was proof that you're not good enough? Be honest. You failed at something, and instead of treating it as feedback, you stamped it on your identity. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. That lie right there, it's the biggest reason people quit. Listen carefully. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is your trainer. Every setback you've ever faced was a test designed to sharpen you, not destroy you. But here's the catch. You only get the benefit if you persist. Most people quit halfway through the lesson, and then walk away thinking they failed. They don't realize a setback wasn't the end. It was a preparation. Imagine this. You're climbing a mountain. Halfway up, you slip, you cut your hand. You're bleeding, exhausted, and humiliated. At that point, you have 2 choices. You can crawl back down and tell yourself, "I wasn't meant to climb," or you can bandage your hand, keep climbing, and later stand at the summit with scars that prove your strength. The difference isn't the slip. It's whether you persist after the slip. Mini affirmation. My setbacks are not dead ends. They are detours toward success. Say it, repeat it, lock it into your mind. Now, let me use some dark psychology here, because I want this to sting. If you run away from setbacks, you're not just failing at the task. You're training your brain to equate discomfort with defeat. That's dangerous. It means every time you hit resistance in life, you'll collapse faster, easier, sooner. You'll become a slave to failure instead of a master of it. But the opposite is also true. If you face setbacks head-on, your brain rewires itself to see obstacles as opportunities. Every failure becomes fuel. Every fall becomes the foundation of your rise. That's how persistence transforms you. It takes your wounds and turns them into weapons. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. People mocked him. They called him insane. But when asked about his failures, he said, "I haven't failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset of persistence. He didn't quit because of setbacks. He used them as stepping stones. And because of that, you and I live in a world of light instead of darkness. Now let's bring this to you. What if your current setback is not a stop sign, but a setup for your greatest breakthrough? What if that rejection, that loss, that delay is actually the very experience you need to build the strength, resilience, and wisdom for your dream life? Would you still be so quick to quit? Reflection question. What's one setback in your life that you've been carrying as a burden, but could actually be your training ground? Sit with that question. Don't avoid it, because the answer could shift your destiny. But let me give you this warning. If you don't learn to turn setbacks into stepping stones, you'll keep repeating the same failures. You'll live a loop of pain without progress. And one day, you'll wake up bitter, blaming life, when the truth is, you chose to quit instead of persist. That's the cost of ignoring this truth. Say this with me. I persist through setbacks. I turn pain into power. Nothing can stop me. Feel that in your chest. That's the beginning of transformation. And remember, persistence isn't about avoiding failure. It's about outlasting failure. Every time life knocks you down, you stand back up stronger, wiser, sharper. That's how you rise. Stay with me, because in the next part, I'll show you the rituals, the daily habits that feed persistence. Miss that, and you'll keep relying on willpower alone. And willpower fades. But rituals rewire you. Don't walk away now. If you do, you're choosing weakness over strength. You're choosing to kill your dream one excuse at a time. So stay, listen, build, persist. Part 4, daily rituals that fuel persistence. Persistence is not something you switch on when life gets hard. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it weakens if you don't train it daily. This is where most people fail. They wait until the storm comes before building their shelter. And then they wonder why they get blown away. If you want to master persistence, you must build rituals. Habits that lock in discipline when motivation disappears. Because let's face it, motivation is fragile. It's a spark. It fades. But rituals are fire. They keep burning, even when you feel nothing inside. Now here's a brutal truth. If you don't control your daily rituals, your rituals will control you. Scrolling mindlessly on your phone every morning, that's a ritual. Complaining about life instead of fixing it, that's a ritual. Hitting snooze 5 times, that's a ritual. And those rituals are silently killing your dreams. Dark psychology moment. Let me say this harshly so it sinks in. Every day you keep the wrong ritual, you're programming yourself for failure. You're literally teaching your brain to quit before it even starts. No wonder people feel stuck. It's because their rituals are silently sabotaging them. But here's the shift. You can replace destructive rituals with powerful ones that fuel persistence. Here are 3 unbreakable rituals you must adopt. Morning identity lock-in. Every morning, before touching your phone, declare out loud, I'm unshakable. I am disciplined. I persist until I win. It sounds simple, but psychology proves it. When you speak it, you program it. You're training your subconscious to obey persistence, not excuses. Micro wins over micro quits. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen persistence. Did you wake up on time? That's persistence. Did you push through your workout? That's persistence. Did you resist the urge to quit halfway through your work? That's persistence. Tiny victory stack. And when life throws you a massive challenge, your brain already knows how to persist. It's trained for it. Nightly reflection. Before bed, ask yourself one question. Did I persist today, or did I quit? Don't sugarcoat it. If you quit, acknowledge it. But here's the key. Don't stop there. Decide how you'll persist tomorrow. This ritual rewires failure into feedback instead of shame. Mini affirmation. Every day I train persistence. Every choice I make builds my strength. Say that with me now. Feel the power of it. Because persistence doesn't come from once in a while decisions. It's carved into you by daily choices. By showing up when you don't want to. By keeping promises to yourself when nobody's watching. That's where champions are forged. And here's the dark truth you can't ignore. If you don't build these rituals, you'll build excuses. And excuses will become your identity. You will keep telling yourself tomorrow, until one day you run out of tomorrows. That's the cost of skipping this. That's the pain of inaction. But if you build these rituals, your persistence will no longer depend on your mood. It will no longer collapse under pressure. It will become automatic, unshakable, permanent. Say this with me one last time. My rituals fuel my persistence. I am unstoppable. Now, don't even think about leaving. Because in the final part, we're going to tie it all together. The ultimate reward of persistence. Miss that, and you'll never see why everything we built so far matters. Part 5, the reward of relentless persistence. Let's be honest. Life doesn't hand rewards to those who dabble, who quit when it hurts, who only persist when it's convenient. No, life bows down to the relentless, to the ones who keep walking when everyone else is, to the ones who refuse to quit when the finish line feels like a mirage. Here's a psychological truth most people don't want to face. The universe tests you before it blesses you. Every setback, every delay, every rejection, that's a test. And most people fail because they mistake the test for the end. They quit right before the breakthrough. Think about it. How many times have you walked away just before success was about to unfold? How many dreams have you buried because persistence felt too heavy? That's where regret lives, in the graveyard of almost achievements. But you don't have to live there, because the reward of persistence is not just the achievement itself. It's a transformation of who you become. When you persist long enough, you become someone unrecognizable to your old self. Stronger, sharper, untouchable. The money, the recognition, the dream, it's all secondary. The true reward is identity. The moment you look in the mirror and finally believe, I am unstoppable. Nothing can break me. And here's where dark psychology hits again. If you quit, you'll never know how close you were. That one more try could have been the doorway to your destiny. Imagine living the rest of your life haunted by the thought, what if I had just persisted one more day? That's a nightmare you don't want. Reflection question. Are you willing to live with regret? Or are you willing to endure the grind until you break through? Mini affirmation. I persist until I win. My reward is inevitable. I never stop. I never quit. Say it. Feel it. Claim it. Because persistence guarantees one thing. If you never stop, you cannot lose. Others may be smarter, richer, luckier, but they will quit. And when they do, you'll still be standing. That's your edge. That's your weapon. Now lean in, because tomorrow we'll dive into something even deeper. If you think persistence alone is enough, you're wrong. Because without this next secret, persistence can still lead to failure. Day 16 will expose a missing key. And if you don't learn it, you may grind for years and still end up with nothing.